Okay, there we go. So I want to welcome you guys all here tonight. I'm really excited that you're here. I wanted to tell you before we start, because I'm not really good at keeping secrets, like I just said, and surprises. Um, I have started a membership area on my platform because I was seeing that there's a real need for people needing healing at different levels for their pets. And so what I'm doing is kind of setting up like this process that people can afford having it done and get help for their pets. So what I'm doing, if anyone puts in the chat line that they would like the special offer of getting, I have to read my notes here. It would be if you want to write this down, it's the diamond membership, and it's going to normally be like $99.95. And for the month of May, it's only going to be $24.95. And it's kind of like you guys are going to give me your feedback too, but what you're going to get for both yourself and your pet, and pets plural, so that's up to 3 pets for yourself of your own, that you're going to get 5 days of healing. So that's a lot of healing because normally, just a couple sessions helps. Um, so you're going to get 5 days of healing from myself for you and up to 3 pets. And you're going to get the access from me personally from my Ask Sue London live events that I do. So after these end, you'll be able to come to my Ask Sue London live events. And what those are is that it's kind of like this idea where I have a different talk, and then you can always ask me questions. So you're able to come for those. And then I send out a monthly meditation as well, and I'm guided with what you need for that time. And then every Monday, you get a channeled message. So that would come in your email from me. And then you because this would be like a diamond level, I'm setting up a private group, and basically it's once a month. You can come on and ask me any questions. So it's basically like you're getting a mini free session to ask me anything about yourself, your business, your pet, what you do with yourself as coaching, anything that you want to know, you can ask me in that time. So that's going to be what you're going to get. And that's normally 99.95. But like I said, this is just new. So I'm going to offer it to just you guys specifically because I love you all. And you guys all have such cute little pets and amazing stuff happening. And I just want to help you more. So I'm only going to charge you $24.95 for that. So you're basically getting, what is that, 20 healing sessions for you and your pets. So if that's something you want, just in the chat line, no, sorry, what do I need you to do? I had directions what I was supposed to say. I'm well trained by my producer. Let me just say, okay. So if you send me an email to sue@asksuelondon.ca, send it to that address, and then say Happivize membership offer in the subject line. And then once Tiago, my producer, gets the coupon made, we'll send it to you. And we're hoping in the next week or two to have it live. And then at that point, then you'll have the coupon. You can just go into that diamond level and use the coupon and only pay the $24.95. Do you like that offer? Does that sound reasonable for people? Do you like that idea? Linda's like, yes. Oh, good. Yes. Okay, good. Okay. Well, this is new for me, but I was just trying to figure out ways because I always like to think, there's a lot of people that, expenses with vets are really expensive now. And I just see that there's a real need for people who aren't healers to, a lot of times medication gets paid and you don't need it. Your pets just need healings and clear the energy. So that's kind of what kind of got me started on that because I do not like seeing any animal suffer. So anyways, so enough about that, okay? Hi, Jennifer. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to talk tonight about the how pets communicate. Now, this is kind of the pets on this side, and this is the pets on the other side. Now, what I want you all to know that each one of you have amazing, incredible, very smart animals, very smart animals. And some of you are going to learn tonight how smart your animals are even more for the messages they gave me. So one of the things that I do with my pets is I give them a job. And so I will say to them, okay, so when I'm working and I need a break, then tell me when it's time for us to stop. Or, if we need to go, and I'm not going to say, I'm going to spell it WALK, because I have two right beside me that'll start barking if they hear the word right now. So I'll say, when it's time to go, then, just let me know. And then they get sensitive to where my energy is. Okay. Just like your pets do with you guys. So if your pet comes to you and they're just sitting staring, a lot of times what they're doing is they're telling you to get moving because you're sitting too long. Okay, so be aware of that because this is what they're smart little cookies, these little animals, friends of ours and family. So be aware of that, okay? Because that's one thing people say to me, they stare a lot at me. So I know for me that sometimes I try and ignore Buddy, our puppy, and he starts pawing at me, then he gets louder. And so I can't record when he's like that because he knows if he does it loud enough, then I stop and then we go for the WALK, right? So they're smart. So what I want to say to you is give your pet a job, okay? Because they want a job, they like to feel important, they like to feel special, and it makes them feel really needed when they're new coming into your family as well. Um, Okay, so that's the first thing. Now, what else I wanted to talk to you about was that a lot of times either our pets here or the pets on the other side will come to us in our dreams. Is anyone having that happen? Does anyone have their pet? Yeah, you do, Joe? Yeah, Jeannie? Yeah. Did you say Linda? You do too? Oh, and Peter. So, what happens is when we are sleeping, that's the quiet time when we're not going. Okay, we got to do dishes, and oh, we got to go here, we got to go run that errand. Oh, we got to do this for work. Our minds are quieter, and our animals love to come to us during that time. So when you wake up in the morning, I always have paper and pen by my side of the bed because I am constantly getting messages. If it's not from my pet, it's from somebody else's pet. And sometimes I don't know whose pet that is until my phone starts going funny. Like I've mentioned before, when things magic happens with it, when there's something happening with a pet. And so what I do is when I have the dream, I write it down what that dream was. Then I take it a step further and I look up what is the meaning of that dream. So I may not remember the whole dream, but might remember a couple words. Has anyone ever done this? Looking up the meanings of your dreams? You just have to go in spiritual meaning of your dreams, right? But your pet will communicate with you, and that can be like your pets here on this side and the pets on the other side. Okay. So that's how they're communicating that way. Another way is that, sometimes that, um, you'll find that they might be doing something. One example that's coming to my mind is that happens a lot that people don't understand is that they will find health issues in you. Not that I'm saying any of you had this happen, but I've done a lot of work at sick kids hospitals and nursing homes, and a lot of the nursing homes have had resident cats. And a lot of times, what will happen in some of the nursing homes I visited is cats in particular that when someone's getting ready to cross, they find the resident cat in that person's room with them. And a lot of because they're sensitive to the energy. And as we're getting ready to cross, our energy changes. And the cats are very, very sensitive to that. So they know who's going to go. And I remember my daughter, she used to work there, and she said, yeah, that there's a certain way that they know as well. And they always know. She would always know as well herself in different forms. I don't want to go in those details. They're too kind of graphic to talk about tonight. But that if you see a cat, if your cat's acting different, it's sensing something, okay, around that. And then also that animals do find health issues in us. Again, this may not be for you, but this can be for other people. And um, a lot of times what they will do is they'll knead at the part of your body where you have a challenge. And years ago, I had Crohn's disease. It's 100% gone in me. I've done so much work on myself. I'm so proud to say that. But anyways, what my dog Rocky would do, anytime I'd have pain, he would sense that energy of the pain, and he would come up. He would bury his head into my shoulder. I'm laying in bed, curled up in a ball, right, having pain, and he would bury his head right here, and then he would breathe really loudly in my ear, almost like a snore, and it would drive me nuts. And I would push him away and say, just, give me my space. Let me just lay here in pain, and, just let me be. And he kept coming up and doing this over and over and over. And what I realized by him doing that action with me was that he was trying every possible way to get me to breathe through the pain and just relax, because when you have pain and you breathe through it, which I finally clicked on after about the 10th time he did this. Well, it was a little slow back then. And I when I would breathe, the pain would not be so bad. So if you're sick, watch what your pet does for you. Or your pet, if you do pet therapy with them, just watch who they go to as well, because they know who needs them and what they need to do. And years ago, when I started, I'm really good friends with Dr. Bernie Siegel. I don't know if you know him or not. Does anyone know Bernie Siegel? Yeah. So, anyways, Bernie, I remember talking to him once, and I said, okay, so, Bernie always would have his rabbit in his pocket when he would do his rounds. He was a medical doctor. He's a best-selling author, and he'd have Fluffy in his pocket. And a lot of his patients would have the white coat syndrome. You see the white coat, your blood pressure goes up, and all kinds of stuff happen because you're stressed over seeing what the doctor going to do, right? So his way of getting around to that was he'd carry the rabbit in his pocket and say to the patient, "Here, can you just hang on to Fluffy? He just needs to be cuddled now." And the patient would focus on that, and then he'd read the chart, and their blood pressure would be normal. Another doctor would come in, it'd be a totally different story because they didn't have a cute pet with them, right? So I remember saying to Bernie that, when what's the secret? That, how do you teach your pet to be good as well as be sensitive and behave when you're working with sick kids? Because I wanted to go into sick kids hospitals with my dogs. And he said, all you have to do, Sue, is just hang on to the leash. They sense exactly what every person needs, whether that's the child that's there or the family member or siblings. They will sense exactly the energy of what that person needs, and they will do stuff. And I can tell you that the miracle stories that we experienced ourselves when we would go in. We took our one dog Molly, and the story at that particular time was that a little girl had to take medication before she had to have a surgery relating to cancer. So I'm doing healing on her, and I had my arm around her, so I was kind of doing the healing, like kind of the cuddle away, not like this, right? And so I said to my husband, how are we going to get this dog to do tricks? Because this dog, Molly, never did tricks unless, she had a bag of treats in front of her, right? So, anyways, she sensed this little girl's stuff because she sensed her energy, she sensed her pain, she felt the energy from all of us, right? So all of a sudden, I looked at Molly, and she's standing on her back legs, and she's dancing in circles, like she looks like she's a dog trained, like in a circus. You know those animals that they do things you don't know? I was blown out of the water by that this dog knew what this little girl needed. And so, Molly became quite a good pet therapy dog from a result of doing that. And I didn't have anything to do with that. Like Bernie said to me, just look pretty hanging onto the leash and they'll know what to do. And so if you go out for a walk, you can find that if you're walking your dog, you may find that your dog might pull to someone. Has anyone ever had that happen? No, no, you're walking and they pull. You've Joan. So we had a dog, Willie, and Willie was one of the pet therapy dogs. that would come to the hospital with us. He was our dog. And what would happen, we'd go walking and he would literally dig his heels in and stop every time there was a senior. And he just wanted them to pat him because he could feel the loneliness they were feeling, and they would talk about their childhood pet. So watch how your pet reacts with other people, because they sense a lot about the energy and their needs. And a lot of times, if you've got a pet and you're out, I mean, doesn't that just start a conversation with strangers when you're at like a dog park or wherever? Just strangers talk when they're with their pets, right? And people, I find that they, when we have our dogs, they just, want to come up and talk with those sort of thing. So trust your pet. Some of you have said, my pet goes crazy and all these different things, but they do really sense energy. And I've never not doubted my pets ever. And on a personal note, kind of where I learned this, my first experience was when I dated my boyfriend that became my first husband, which I call him my practice husband. So my childhood dog Spot was she was like my sister. I was an only child and I shared everything with her, and we were great. Loved each other, and she helped me. My parents were abusive, and she was my support, my savior, everything. So along comes this guy, and so we're going to get married. But that dog did not like him. She attacked him. She would go after his ankles, and I thought she was going to rip him apart. And I, as a 17-year-old, was like horrified. Like, my dog's never done this before. What are you doing? You know? Well, she was trying then to tell me this was not a good thing that was going to be happening 4.5 years later. And so I've never doubted anyone, the way my dogs have acted with anyone in the future. And when I'm even hiring someone to work with me, my dogs are there and I watch exactly how they react. And they get hired if my dogs like them. And I had one person come over and she said, "I brought your dogs treats." And I said, "Oh, that's great. But, it was kind of like not wanting to be rude and say, well, we're very kind of, we give them natural stuff and all this, right?" And the girl right away said, "Well, I understand that you only hire people that like your dogs." And I thought, how does this word get out like this? So people do know that, pets will, react in certain ways with people. And I want to encourage you never to give your pet heck if they're growling at someone, because if they're growling at someone, there's a reason behind that. And sometimes, like, I didn't know like what was going on. And then so fast forward in my life, 16 years I was with that guy. And then I was 5 years discovering myself, healing, letting go. And then 5 years later, I met Mr. Right. And I had not told my kids. I, was kind of feeling it out if I want to get involved with a guy again, or no offense, Peter, I love you. And uh, where what my life was going to be like, right? And so what happened, I thought, okay, Spot, was really good at telling me what I was doing wrong. So I always had my pet, you know, like I around this guy, Ross, my future husband of now 22 years together. And so what happened, I had Molly with me, and Molly was a dog who at 3 months old was abused, and she would cower down and pee on the feet of every man that came near her. And I know that she was abused by a man. And so what happened, we Ross had his dog, a Jack Russell, and we would take our dogs together for a walk, and they got along, and it was all great. And we were at the playground, and my daughter at the time was only 9, and Molly's all over Ross and wagging her tail and jumping. And my daughter came right out of school. She'd never seen the guy before in her life, and she said, "Mom, I don't know who this man is, but you need to marry him." And I thought, thank God I know him, because like that would have been quite embarrassing, right? But even my daughter noticed the energy on my dog that she's never been like with anyone before, right? And so, there's the difference, right, between two people. right? Two men, how they're different, how they reacted, right? Now, I did find out on a funny note, like 3 years after we were married, Ross confessed and said he was carrying dog treats in his pocket every time he'd see Molly. I don't think that really did it, but like I give him credit. He's a keeper, so we're all good. But so I want to encourage you, the pets, if they bark, if they're like acting up, I was cats like yelling. Some of you have said like your cats were yelling. There is a reason for that. And I always want to say to you, I encourage you, don't let them uh don't give them heck for that, because they a lot of them feel like they have the job to protect you. Okay. And so if they're doing that and you're giving them heck, then they don't understand, well, okay, well, why are you yelling at me? I'm trying to protect you. Do you understand what I'm saying with that? Right. And then I also want to point out too, going back to the health stuff, is that pets, if like with Rocky, he would, bury his head in my shoulder and he would breathe really loud. And that's where I learned to breathe through pain. And that was the beginning of, my journey meditating. And now I meditate 4 times a day. And it's like, people like to eat chocolate. I like to meditate. That's how crazy I just feel so good with meditating. And so anyways, so what I found, and I see a lot of people tell me, they come to me because they say their pets are acting strange, sniffing them. And maybe you understand what I'm going to say next, is that a lot of cats and dogs, that if somebody has cancer, they will really alert you on that. So they can start like kind of kneading at your body where it is. They can start digging in you. Okay, so these are some signs as well to know about that. Because I feel like somebody on the call is somebody who's sick, knows somebody who's sick right now, and they're not sure. So, if they have a pet, is it you, Michelle? You know somebody who's sick right now? No? Okay. Because there is somebody on the call that I had to share that with. So just be aware, it might be someone that a neighbor or something that's saying, my pet's acting funny. And specifically, I feel like it's a cat doing this, because cats are so intuitive with this, right? They really sense that um, as well. And then also another thing around, pets communicating with us. I've done a lot of work with Dog Guides of Canada, and it's just been amazing the stories that people have told me. And the one thing, I'm talking about them experiencing health, they experience that, when someone's getting ready to cross, they sense that. When I met a man, his dog, it was a chocolate lab, and his dog's name was Toby. I apologize. I don't know the man's name because I always remember the animals' names. So if I don't remember your name in 5 years, but I'll remember your pet's name, forgive me. Okay. I remember the animals' names. Anyways, Toby was with him. And as many of you know, that you never pat a working dog, right? You don't do that unless they're, you have to ask and they'll say if they're off duty or whatever. So, anyways, while I was talking to this man, he'd actually come to my book signing, and he was in front of me with Toby. And all of a sudden, I looked at the man. We were talking, and then the dog's energy just switched, and he just right away got really rigid, really strong. And then he went over, and but at that point, he was sitting beside the man. But then he went over and he put his head on the man's lap. And so I, was asking the man not to be rude, but just more like, what's happening? Because it always intrigues me, what animals will do. So he said that his dog was sensing the chemicals in his body was changing, and he was about to have a seizure. And he said that since he got Toby, he can go out of his house, and he's in a wheelchair. He can go out of his house. He can go down the street. He can cross the road. But if Toby senses his energy's different, he gets his body in front of the wheelchair and he puts his head lovingly on his lap. Right? So this is how animals can sense if there's seizures coming, heart attacks, any of this stuff. Okay. So I always say, I've been involved in helping, with heart attacks and stuff like that as well. And I never keep the animal from the owner, because that animal gets really stressed. That animal needs them, and the person needs the pet as well. So, that's just all around sensing the energy, right? But it's just amazing when you see these working dogs, what they know, right? So is there any questions about any of this so far? Does anyone have any questions? No? No, everyone's good? You guys are so quiet tonight. You're struggling after the solar eclipse, are you? No? So, anyways, and then another story that I wanted to tell you was about if you have someone with Alzheimer's disease. So, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the call with Amy or not, but animals will sense what people need with mental health, with dementia, with Alzheimer's disease. And I didn't realize to the extent until we experienced this personally many, many years ago. And this is when our dog Willie was just a little puppy and fit in the palm of my hand. He was just old enough to come to join us, what, 8, 9 months, 8, 9 weeks. So, anyways, we didn't want to leave him at home when we got him. And my husband Ross's Grandma Susie, she had Alzheimer's disease. She was in the final stages. And you know that stage where, they're there, but they're not present and you can't get through to them. They don't see you or hear you. So, anyways, we went and I just kept getting the message to take Willie and put him on grandma's wheelchair because she was in a wheelchair and they had like the tray in front of her. Do you know those chairs they have in hospitals and that? And it was kind of holding her up. And I said to Ross, I said, I don't believe I'm going to say this, but I said, we've got to take this crazy busy puppy, this little cute little ball of fur. We have to take Willie and we've got to put him on grandma's tray of the wheelchair. And Ross is like, okay, has he peed lately? Like he goes through all of that. Like, I don't want to pee in honor and all this, right? So that was good. We had taken care of that. No problem there. But anyways, what happened? So I took Willie and he's like in my arms and he's really trying to get to grandma. Now, this puppy's what, like 8 or 9 weeks old. Okay. He sensed at that age exactly what that woman needed. So we got Willie. I took him and I put him on the tray. And of course, as he's going down, I said, you be good boy. You just please be good boy. Please be a good boy. And because I just didn't know what to expect, right? But I knew it was important that he had to get to her because the way he was struggling, it's not like a normal struggle. You've seen your pets kind of do this, right? That if they need to get somebody, they got to go, right? So, anyways, what happened next? It all had us in tears. That Willie sensed what grandma needed. And that was that grandma, again, not speaking, just blank, right? He just simply took his head, calmed right down. He put his head on her hand, and then he gently licked it. That's it. That's all they did. He did. And it was about 3 minutes later, we saw the energy come back in grandma's eyes. She was back. And then she started moving her body. And then she said the word puppy. And I cannot tell you that that was the most touching moment that Ross and I have ever experienced. The doctor came in, the staff, the nurses came in, they were all there. And we really all said we felt like we truly had witnessed like a miracle from that. And it was about a week later that grandma passed. And the whole time that Ross was doing her eulogy, he was just a mess. And he kept saying, yeah, my dog, and telling the story, right? But we've never, I'm sorry I'm making everyone cry here, but it is quite an amazing story, though, right? That it's just so touching. At any age, a pet can make a difference for another. And, we're just really grateful that, Willie did that for grandma. And that's what was the start of him doing pet therapy. And he would go into schools. And another story, and I'm telling you stories just to kind of, because I feel some of you are going to have some of these experiences. Another story about Willie was that I was going in schools and I was doing talks because I'm an author, and I was talking about follow your dreams and, anything's possible, and, just kind of like empowering the kids. And it was like kindergarten to grade 6. The whole the whole school was in the gym. So I had Willie with me because I have children's books and they were about Rocky, a little Shih Tzu, where I brought Willie and Willie would, get him down. By this point, he's about a year old and he's like, really, the world is about him, right? He'd sense who needed something. He would walk over to them. He would give them whatever they needed and the whole thing. So what happened that day was another miracle that we experienced. The whole school, in fact, witnessed this. So I'm talking and talking about how animals give us so much love and support, and they're always there for us. And then all of a sudden, from the back of the room, this little boy started walking up to the front of the room, and he had his head down. I think he was about maybe grade two, maybe that age. And when you can tell someone's energy, they're very sad. And I knew that something wasn't right with him. And he came up right at the front of the room, and then he whispered in my ear that he wished that Willie could have been with his grandpa the night before. And so I knew exactly what was coming next. And he said to me that his grandpa had died alone, and that he just couldn't get over that his grandpa was alone when he died. So he's telling me this, and right away I was holding Willie, and the same thing happened again. He started pulling and going crazy and trying to get to the little boy, just like he did with grandma, because he sensed what this little boy needed, right? And so, the little boy took Willie, and he was hanging on to him. Willie's licking his face. He licked it so much that the boy's hair was wet, and just kept like wagging his tail and just going like, the boy was laughing by the end of this. And at the end, he said, I needed that. Thank you. And, he just said he felt like he was loved. And then I talked to him quietly about, grandpa is good, and, gave him some messages. But that night, his parents called me and said that they didn't know what I did. They wanted to know what happened, because their son was just so happy, and he had stopped eating. He was just so upset by this. And so again, a dog sensed what a child needed in sadness, right? So, telling you stories about pet therapy, but I feel like each one of you have a pet that all of your pets are sensitive, because you're all sensitive, and they mirror you, and your pets feel other people's stuff. And so when you see them pulling, let them go to that person, because you don't know if they're going to that person because they have something going on, or I feel for some of you, it could even be a connection because you've put out a request for an answered prayer for something, and your animal, your dog knows, hears you talking, and literally is like, this is the one I need to connect you with. Though some of those times you'll see those movies where it's like a guy with his dog, and then he runs to a girl with her dog, like those romantic shows, kind of thing. That's kind of like what you can expect your pet to do, right? So, I'm going on a lot about this with your pets and their energy and sensing and stuff like that. But this is really a big thing that people do not pay attention to. That's really important. And, give them a job, and, tell them what it is you want them to do. And for me, like, I take turns between saying to Buddy, okay, you're in charge. And then Marley, your job is make sure that Buddy behaves. So that I'm covering both dogs, and I have to make sure that Marley's the one that keeps Buddy good, but I want Buddy to feel special too, right? So give your pets a job, because they really want that. And some pets feel like if they don't have purpose, then it's kind of a boring life for them. Or like, doesn't mom or dad love me? Or like, they can get really kind of crazy thoughts around this, right? So, I'd watch around that. Now, with our pets on the other side, they, I'm telling you that they're crazy what they can do. It's amazing. As I think I've told you the first time, some of you even on the consultations, this is a normal in my house, that this sits beside my side of the bed, my cell phone. It is on silent, and I have it off so that nighttime, like, I can sleep. And I've said to the other side, if there's an emergency with a pet, then work your magic and tell me, right? So what they do with my phone is it will do this. It will go in circles, and it will start vibrating across my desk, and it will be so loud. And like, when your phone does that on a ringer, it doesn't do that. Like, that's not a normal thing, right? But this is how the other side will work their magic to make sure that I'm there for that pet, and that's getting ready to cross, as well as the owner. And another time I had one of my I used to be a radio host, and my producer, it was a huge shock, and he had passed away that morning. And I'd had a dream about him the night before. And what happened was my phone was doing that. And then I thought, this is really strange. And I opened it, and it was actually his picture. It was Chris's picture. And it had his obituary, but he had just crossed. So there was no time to get that up, but it was on there. So I want to say that, sometimes you think, well, that's not realistic. That can't happen. The other side can literally do anything. And that's where I want to say next is some of you do not talk to your pets on the other side and tell them what you need. And they want you to tell them what you need because they want that job. Okay. So that is one way they will communicate. They will come in the dreams as well as like I talked about, in the beginning that your live pets can do. Music is another way. So if you feel like you need to turn on music, if you feel this strong pull to turn on music, do you have that happen now, Peter? You do? Yeah. Do you want to go off mute? Are you good? Do you want to say something?
No, when my pup passed in 2017, I did get kind of a sense for that, and I could tell in the lyrics and stuff there was definitely a spiritual message.
Yeah. Well, and this is what they will do. It was going to say you want to listen to the words. And I help a lot of animals cross over, and there was one that I helped. Actually, it's going to be a year in May, and Louis was his name. He was a really cute little Bichon. And so while I'm at my end and I'm, helping, I'm setting the healing and I'm helping him cross, and he's giving me messages and I'm getting messages who's there with him and telling the owner and all this. I don't listen to John Denver, or I didn't, I should say. And all of a sudden, John Denver was playing on the radio. And I can't remember the song, but if I hear it, I'll know it. And because I hear it all the time from Louis, he comes to visit me on a regular basis and constantly plays John Denver. And my husband now will say, "Oh, has Louis come to visit?" Because he knows how much that was Louis's song, right? So if there's a pet that you feel like, like Peter, you had that song, so that's that pet, right? And I know for me, like with Louis, that's his song. I know for me with my grandpa that it's Amazing Grace. And that's, the song I had the connection with him, different things I have with my different pets. So be aware of that because they will do amazing miracles. And I think some of you know the story, if not all of you, that my dog Gussie had said to me the night before we were getting a puppy, which that's Buddy, and he had said that he had to cross because he had to help me help many, many, many more pets that were needing my help. And I thought, that was great. Okay. And so, I knew it was coming and we went through everything. And I thought, well, I was going to take a week off and I would help Marley through grieving. And, that was a big thing for him because they weren't even an hour apart for 11 years. And Marley took it very, very hard. But Gussie decided otherwise. And so on our second day of driving back and forth to Niagara on the Lake, Ontario, Canada, all of a sudden the car starts like telling me pull over to the side of the road. And so I pulled over and I heard to take paper with me. And that's when Gus started with me and he started channeling books through me and then said, like, this is just the beginning. And I was writing courses and I was doing all this. And then day two, I started getting the phone calls of winning all these awards. And from that, what in August until now, I've won four pretty big awards and be on a cover of a magazine and have an article in there. That's my dog did that. So what I want to say is expect the unexpected when your pet crosses. You tell them what it is that you want, and they are waiting. They're literally holding the magic wand over you, sitting at your feet, saying, "What is it that you want?" You're not asking me, come and tell me what you want. And literally, I swear to God, I've done this with every pet, and the miracles that they have created in my life have been unbelievable. But Gussie took the cake when, one phone call after another, and it just keeps coming these bigger things for me. And so this dog of mine's on a real mission. So what I want to say is ask your pet. And then you've got to spend that time to be quiet. And then you have to listen for the guidance that you get. Okay. Because you might hear, go here. You might hear, okay, well, I need to phone this person. And you don't know if you're phoning that person to help them or if they're going to help you or they're going to lead you to somebody. Okay, so there's a lot of shifts happening right now, and the veil between our worlds are so thin that things can happen. I watch Molly when she's kicking my butt to take a break or I've worked too hard. Her picture on my desk will fall over. It's like, okay, thanks, Moll. I got the message. So this is a normal thing in my house. And also I can tell you that when your pet is with you, you can feel cold. You can feel a draft. Okay. You can feel a breeze sometimes. It can be the middle of summer and I feel like I need to have pajamas on, house coat, blankets around me. And I'm just because I feel the coldness so much because there's so many around me. So these are kind of some signs for you to know that they communicate, through song, through your guidance, your direction. When you feel like you're pulled to go somewhere, go then, because it's that time when you're supposed to take the action. So if you wait a couple hours, you could be missing who you were supposed to meet. So as soon as you have that thought, don't waste time, go. Okay, because I feel like some of you aren't, you're getting the message and I'll get to it next week, or maybe tomorrow I can do that, and you're missing the person you were supposed to meet. Because I feel like some of you are thinking, well, nothing gets answered for me, but you're not taking the action right away. So no judgment on me. No, I'm not, I just want you to know, take the action because it gets pretty magical, crazy fun, when you just live your life like, oh, I gotta go here, I gotta go here kind of thing, right? So, so is that kind of helping you like to understand what to watch for with a pet on your side as well as on the other side? Are there any questions about this before I start? I have a lot of messages to give tonight. That's why I'm not kind of going to go on a lot about this. No questions around this? No, everyone's good. I think for a lot of you it was like kind of like reminders, right? So, yeah. Okay. All right. So, can I give you all messages now? Do you hear my southern drawl coming out? I'm Canadian, right? So, be prepared. Okay. So, the first one is for Michelle. Where's Michelle? Is Michelle here? Oh, there you are at the top. I've been looking at you all the time. Okay. So, Michelle, you want to know about Susu? Okay. Her name was Mystique before, right? You can come off mute if you want. So, oh, can you hear me? You can hear me. I can't hear you. Okay, maybe you'll have to put in the chat. Maybe you have to do something in the chat, maybe. So anyways, what she told me, right? Okay. So she's kind of confused about what people are calling her. Because she's like, my name's Mystique. Why are they calling me Susu? I'm confused. So be aware of that because it's really confusing to her. And that to gain her trust, when you rescue a pet, a lot of times, what really is the answer to it is you have to have patience, love, and understanding. And we've rescued a lot of pets, and what people need to understand is that when you rescue a pet, a lot of them have a past, and as it's not good. And so I saw that her past, she trusted and she got hurt. So she's coming into this new environment and, well, I don't know if I can trust you. You're calling me a different name. I'm confused. Like, how long are you keeping me? Like, that's kind of like what I'm sensing. Um, and so her thoughts were, how long am I going to be here? Are you going to hurt me? Okay. And I know that you're not, right? So, but this is what, you know, when they go through so much, you have to understand that that's where she's at, right? Only recently changed her name. Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. You might want to consider what just they have to decide about the name, right? She's confused by that. Okay. So also it would be good to play calming music because the loud music is really stressing her out. Really stressing her out. She needs to have calm music. She's come into this new environment. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't understand why they're not calling her by her name. And can I trust you? Like she's really got a lot on her plate. I did a lot of healing on her too, by the way, because I just felt like she has a lot to be cleared on her. And that actually you were the inspiration for me to make this offer to all you guys about that clearing because there's so many of your pets that have so much going on. So uh the past is very the so this poor cat is very scared and not trusting, and this is all due to her past. It's nothing to do with the children, nothing at all. So that's why I'm saying patience, love, and understanding. That and she's not sure about their energy too. Are they a busy couple? Yes, no, because yeah, they are. Okay, she doesn't like that. Like, why are they here? Why are they going? They're always going. Oh, well, what's going on? Like, it's kind of like that, right? So something for them to be aware of. Like, when you rescue a pet, a lot of times you have to in the beginning maybe spend a little bit more time with them, or maybe go out and come back and that kind of thing, because she's really totally confused. Like, you go get a pet, you bring it in, and then you're gone again, and then you're not here, and then you give me a different name. It's like, what is going on to me, and how can I trust you, that kind of thing, right? um I also feel like, again, is your daughter a healer? Consistency is exactly right. Totally needed. Is your daughter a healer? You are you are Look, we're doing good with sign language here today, aren't we? So, okay, so I can't hear you. But if you're a healer, you need to do healing on that little one every day because she really needs it. And when we brought Buddy in, I was doing healing on him hourly because, I mean, this was a dog that we got that was given as an 8-week-old puppy to a couple that were 92. One had dementia and one had Alzheimer's. He was found by another son in the garage. The owners, the couple didn't even know they had a dog, and the dog was living on bird dirt. And he never didn't know how to walk. It took him about a week to learn how to walk, and we were going out every half hour, to take him for a walk. And he can walk now. He can really walk, and he can run, and like it's like, let's keep going, right? But the car rides, I think I talked about it with the past life experiences he's had, right? But even with him, he needs to hear he's a good boy. We love him. And that's what, would be good for Susu as well, right? I made a mock remedy for them to try. So I think if can you do distant healing on her? Okay, you need to do it like 3 times a day. Okay. And if you feel like you need to do it more, do it more. Okay. Because she really needs it. And then yeah, so that's good. And if she wants to have a session with me, just give her my email and then we can set something up. Okay. Okay. So that is Susu. It's amazing how pets, like, they just, they're like little people, right? So we have to remember that. Okay, Becky. Is Becky still here? I know that. Oh, Becky is there. There you are. They're down there. Okay, so I love Holly and I want to bring her home. I love this dog. And I think it's because my husband had, is she a beagle?
Yeah, but I think she's mixed with probably some I think Australian Shepherd and maybe even Pit Bull. Sometimes she acts real she's really, really nice and she takes things for a long time and then sometimes she just pounces. But she hasn't been around any dogs in the last 4 years or so. We had 4 dogs when I got her and
Okay.
they all died. All died.
Okay. So I feel like with her, like, she is so calm. Like, she's like really calm. Like, it's like, holy
Yeah.
smokes, I just want to cuddle you, and that kind of thing. I feel her energy being very loving and very kind and calm. Um, but oh my gosh, she's cute. So you asked, like, the question was, where's her pain coming from? And so as I've mentioned before, if I didn't, I'll say it again. What happens to me when I go into a pet, when I, go into them and feel them and send healing and that, I feel exactly physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually exactly what they are having happen. Okay. And I feel the owners as well. Okay. So what happened when I did healing. I had to do healing on Holly earlier as well for about half an hour or so extra. And I felt her lower back. I was feeling in my back. My lower back was really hurting. It's right where the hips join the back, that lower part. I was having trouble sitting. It was like hurting so much. And that it kind of like it connects to the hips. And I felt that the neck, like even just talking about her, I feel like I need to do healing on my own neck because I can feel her neck. And it's kind of like, when if you ever anyone go to a chiropractor that, if you're off, you can feel it in your neck. And as soon as they adjust you, your neck feels better. So I feel it's kind of like she's out of alignment, if that makes sense.
Well, I have a neck problem and I just had lumbar surgery a year ago. I was in a wheelchair.
So I'm feeling both of you. Thank you for
We're
that.
marrying each other, I guess. She just seems like her
Yeah.
joints, like when she moves, but so am I. I can barely
Yeah.
move.
Well, and I was going to say, I feel, and again, no, I'm not a doctor. Okay. So I have to make that very clear to you. But I feel and check into this because I know I've always given my pets probiotics. I take probiotics and we ran out a couple days ago and I feel my body feels like it's really stiff. And I work out and do everything. But when you get used to having that, it does make your body feel better. So I would maybe look into that for yourself and for her as well. Because I feel like there is maybe like a little bit of arthritis in her. Plus, she's mirroring you. You're mirroring her as well. And we can mirror our pets too, by the way. Just know that. I couldn't believe like when Willie was sick, I was feeling his heart. And then that's when I realized his heart was filling with fluid and he was getting ready to cross. But with Holly, I do feel inside of her that it's red. So that tells me inflammation and achy. So do you do healing on her? Are you a healer?
Yeah, I heal on her every day.
Okay.
She
So
right through here, I work on her and I can feel lumps in here and I press on them and release the energy and I go all the way, all over her basically. She comes to me for it.
yeah, they do, right? So how often are
Mhm.
you working on her?
Every time she comes up on my chair, so it could be once a day or 5 times a day.
Okay, good. Just be aware of that, and like that's good. I'm proud of you for the fact that you're being aware of that, and that the pets will put their body wherever they need the healing, right? So if people aren't healers who are on the call, that's what pets will do. So you're right on that, but also work on yourself because then if we
I
get her
do. I,
cleared,
I
we're
work
going to
out
get you
three
cleared
times a
too.
day.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
I just it's been a long, slow recovery, and I'm trying to be patient, but it's been a long, long haul. And I worry I'm going on a retreat in May, and it came up so fast, and I'm still having a hard time walking. But I've got to leave her home with my husband for a week, and I'm wondering is this going to kill her?
So I
Because
got I got some I got something about that too. So
okay,
um just know it was channeled through me and I hate when they give me messages like this. So just know I'm a kind person and I'm only repeating what they're telling me to tell you. Okay. So going back to one of the questions you had, oh, so she told me, is someone feeding her people food, sneaking people food to her? Because she told me that
my
she's getting people and that's
my
bothering her.
husband.
Yep.
My
She's
husband
yelling on
just
me
got
right
told he has diabetes, and so he's strict. He's on off sugar now, so that will end.
Okay, good, because he's been feeding her snacks, people food snacks, and that's been affecting her. So be aware of
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
Our dogs would part of their treats, they'll get like yellow beans or green beans or something from a garden. Like that's what we give our dogs as snacks, but not like nothing preservatives, nothing sugar, nothing like that. So
And I just
just
changed her
tell
dog
him
food
his
too.
dog is telling on him, okay? So she'll
Okay.
tell me more if he does it again, okay? So
Okay.
now you asked about so also Holly, now I wrote this down, but this is making sense what you're telling me. Holly absorbs everything and she needs to have consistent healing and clearing. So a lot of this is your stuff. Okay. Now you asked me, will Holly be around for the May trip and November trip? Okay. So the one thing I say to everyone is that I will never predict a pet or person's crossing because the pet and the person have free will choice. And I can tell you that I mean, I've died twice. I mean, you think after the first time, like the second time I would stay, but I got sent back because it wasn't my time. And so, when I'm being sent back to help people and pets, like, and my grandfather kind of kicked my butt to tell me to come back, I came back. But if, say, this is another person, they might choose to stay, right? It's the same with pets. So if a pet is loving their owner so much, a lot of times they will hang on and they will stay until you come back. Okay. So I won't even answer that just because I don't want to say something that it's going to be different because it's up to her. But this is the message that this is actually from a grandfather figure. Okay. Remember, this is not out of my mouth. Okay. So the words are as follows. Um, okay, I gotta read. I'm reading this exactly what came. Okay. I just gotta find out where it starts. Okay. So um okay, this is my own stuff that I'm telling you, not grandpa's yet. So I can tell you that personally that I have learned myself that when you worry, it's a waste of time because a lot of times that we worry, like almost 80%, it's about nothing, right? And I was guilty about that. In fact, my 3-year-old daughter at the time said to me, "Mommy, go smell the flower." I'm like, "What?" And she said, "You're always worrying. Like worrying is such a waste of time." And I thought, out of the mouth of babes, right? Seriously. And so I found that, when I had my butt kicked by my 3-year-old being told that, I thought, okay, like she's pretty empathic, pretty smart. And it's a lesson for all of us to remember that every single thing that we have happen in our life, it happens for a reason. Okay, so if your energy is at this place, you're going to attract that, right? If your energy is at this place, you'll attract that, right? So when you worry, not only is it a waste of time, but you're taking the time away for the quality focus time that Holly wants now. Does that make sense? So, and
Yes.
again, when you worry, that's also making her feel worse because she absorbs it, right? Make
Okay.
sense? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so where's the message from Grandpa here? Okay. So yes, okay, this is not me pointing at you, okay? This is like Grandpa. So do you know what I'm talking about when I say Grandpa? Did you have a grandpa that used to do this?
No,
Oh, your
no, because
grandpa?
I had four. My mom outlived four guys, and I found out who my real dad was when I was 50. So, and he was dead by then. So I don't know who you're talking about.
This is a grandfather, and that he liked to do this. So if you ever see pictures of an older man doing this, it's him. And it's like I
Okay.
can't even stop pointing at you right now because he's like really using me to be like so adamant on this. So he said that Holly is so you have to, again, this is him. Okay. So you have to start enjoying the present. Holly is a beautiful gift, and we all should um, learn to live to appreciate and value for what we have today. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
something
if
I'm
you,
working on.
here goes the finger again from Grandpa, right? And that worry does not, the worry is upsetting her, and she's taking on that emotion. So be aware of that. And I know it's hard to not worry about your pet, but it's actually affecting you too, physically, right? Not just emotionally. So you go on that trip. If you feel like you should go. Okay, you have a good intuition, and follow through with that. And I can tell you that sometimes pets, if they want to cross, and I'm not saying this is going to happen either way, but my dog Molly, I said to her when she was beside me when Rocky had just crossed, and I said, "Molly, when it's your time, go in your sleep. I don't want to go through this again." Didn't know I was going to be doing this like every day of the week, right? But it was just, I don't like seeing my own pets go, right? Or I didn't. And so, anyways, what happened, she remembered that for 15 years of her life. And so when her time came, she decided that she was going to go when I wasn't available. Okay. So she chose my husband to take her 10 minutes before I had to go on a live radio show that I was hosting. And it was on AM radio, so I couldn't even get out of it. So see how
Yeah.
she like got the exact moment this was going
Yeah.
to happen, right? So we have to live our life, and I know that it can be really hard when our pets are near the end, and we're are they at the end, and are they taking my stuff on, or like it can be very emotional, and I've been there myself. But the best you can do for her is to be happy and appreciate her and be present and do the healing work on both of you. I mean, I did the healing work on myself, and the main thing that I healed the Crohn's disease with was emotional work and my diet. Those are the two things that I went on to heal myself. And I feel like those are the two areas for you to focus on for your healing. Because I feel like you're
Yeah.
going to get better, right? Yeah.
I'm also watching my husband die too, so I'm really trying to live in the moment because I don't want to mourn
Yeah.
him when he's still here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's hard. You have a lot on your plate for sure, right? And so that's where, like, again, I always say God only gives us what we can handle, right? And this is kind of like showing you you're an amazing, strong person. And is it fair to say that you didn't always feel that way?
Yep.
Right,
I know
right.
I'm
I mean,
strong, but this is a lot.
right? And I know for me, like the challenges I had through, it showed me how strong I was, right? And it was the greatest gift I was ever given, the things that I had happen in my life. At the time, I didn't think it was great, but it will work out for you is what I want to say. And
Okay.
just talk, talk to the point of finger grandpa, because he's really got your back. And
Well, I've been told this quite a bit in the last 6 months because I started mourning my husband way
yeah,
too early, and so then I had to move that to celebrating his life every day, and
good.
that's what Grandpa, I guess, is trying to
Yeah.
tell me with Holly as well. So I'm just, yep, I get it.
Yeah, good. Well, and I'm here for you. So, reach out if you
Okay,
need me,
thank you.
okay? Yeah.
Thanks so
But
much,
yeah,
Sam.
you're welcome. Okay, so is Nan here? Is Nan's on the call? No? No. Okay, well, so Nan, so sometimes what happens is that, remember I said that your pets tell me stuff like, with Becky, like Becky's husband was giving snacks to Holly. So Nan, the message from Sunny is that following words, Sue, mom is really doing her work. She's not cheating, she's doing her work. So, Nan, I want to just say, keep up the great work you're doing. I'm very proud of you. And I know that was, really hard for you to get doing some of those things. So, you know, there's a cat telling on their owner too, right? So does that scare you guys now that y'all know you have work to do and you're all your pets are going to come to me? So no, I'm just trying to make this light because I'm seeing a lot of faces right now that are looking pretty stressed here. So, okay, so Sarah Zimmerman, Sarah, you're there, right? Okay, so your questions, you were asking about Sweetie, and Sweetie does want to see you have more balance and quality time and cuddles with her right now. I know, and she knows that you're really busy now. And so Sweetie is acknowledging that, but wants you to have time with her. Okay, so it's really important to have that balance. And like I said, my boys will show me when I need to stop and have cuddles and do the WALK, and we do. And so that's kind of what Sweetie is saying. She wants you to, make sure you include her in that, but having the quality time, right? She is holding on for you, and she wants you to believe in yourself. That's why she's with you, to remind you of that. And she's helping you to become more confident. And the affirmation that I want to encourage you to say is, I can handle what God and his angels send me. I can do it. I can do anything I set my mind to. Okay, so that's for you, Sarah, from Sweetie. Okay. Jeannie, where's Jeannie? Jeannie's at the top. Okay, so Jeannie, this is where I had to smile. I was having a good smile from your cats. Okay, so Missy, I had to smile when I read your question. What prompts Missy to go downstairs and yell? Um, my mother-in-law did that to me. on the other side. But now this is what it reminded me of. And I thought, why am I seeing my mother-in-law? Like I loved my mother-in-law, and she was actually my mother in other lifetimes. So we were very close. So why I saw mom was that what's happening with Missy is she's going down because she's connecting with the other side. Not that she's getting ready to die, but she's kind of like your watchdog. And so she feels like she's going to go down and yell at them and tell them to go away. And they're not bad energies. They're just good spirits. And she's protecting you. So, she's being your guard pet. So the muscle twitching, so I have a lot of animals coming to me right now with that, and my own dog has been doing that. And so I know that with my pet and everyone I've been working with, what's been happening, this solar eclipse was insane. It was strong. There's still effects happening from that, right? The cats were affected the worst from what my experience has been. Okay. I found the dogs were like the day before, and then kind of like the day after, like it was just like they crashed, where some of the cats are still having problems. But my little guy, Marley, he's very empathic, and your cats are empathic. And so what happens when the vibration is high, the energy is high, that pitch, they hear it. And it was even affecting my ears as well. And when I checked in with Missy, my ear was really, really hurting. I don't feel it's an ear infection. I feel like you could almost, because you do healing work, right? Just put your hands on her ears. Okay, that would really help her. Okay. Um, and what was I supposed to tell you here? Um, yeah, the frequency, and she's just like Marley. And so anytime like there's, even if there's an earthquake, a tsunami, any kind of weather stuff happening in the world, Marley's ear starts to affect. So you can be aware of that, like watch your weather channel or whatever, because that can give you some signs there too. Okay. Good luck at the vet. She says, I don't want to go. So just be prepared for that. That's why I was laughing, because she like knows what she wants. You can speak. You want to say something?
So the muscle twitching then is probably you're saying from the solar flares. Is that correct?
Solar eclipse and all the energy
Oh,
that we've been having lately. Yeah. And my dog is doing the
okay.
exact same thing. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll cancel the appointment. The crazy thing is that my other cat is actually doing a little bit of that also.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the cats are very sensitive to the energy. And like all these empathic animals, and cats specifically have a very, very, very high empathic level, right? So they were feeling stuff before. Like, I don't know if you were outside when we had the eclipse, but all of a sudden what happened here is that the birds stopped, and when it got dark they didn't know what to do, and then they were all of a sudden gone. And then we started hearing crickets go like crazy, crazy loud. Did you have that happen in your area too, Michelle? You're saying yes. So the animals they're really thrown off by all this. Some of you feeling maybe a little tired. Like, some of you feeling tired and sluggish, right? So that's the energy. And so our pets not only feel the energy from there, but they're also feeling it from us too. And they feel it from others that are outside of your house and around, right? So, but the twitching, yeah,
Oh,
it's the free.
it looks uncomfortable. Is there something I can do to help her with it?
So what I do for Marley is like I put probiotics on his food, and
Yeah, I
then
do that.
yeah, and like he's 11 now, and he has been having this problem ever since a puppy, because he's very sensitive. And so what I have to do, we don't say the word EARS in our house either, because he knows he's going to get picked up, and sometimes he doesn't want to be held. So those are the two dirty words in the London house. That right? I just spelled. And so what I have to do is I have to pick him up. He's only 10 pounds, and I have to hold him, like cuddle him. Because if I lay him on the bed and then I do the healing on his ears, he's okay. He's fine. But if I pick him, like or sorry, if he's on the bed, no, don't touch me. Like he runs to his cage, right? But if I pick him up and then I kind of hold him and I'm holding his ears. I worked on him last night doing that for 45 minutes. And normally I would work on on an animal 10 minutes, but he needed it really badly. So that's, I don't know if they're going to want you to hold them. You may have to do the distant healing. But as soon as you can get your hands as close, but that's what I've had to do every time that gets it to settle down. So, I always play like kind of real calming, mellow, meditation music and have the energy really calm in here. That's how I get it calm. Right. And my
Yeah.
husband knows he's not allowed to watch any of I always call them the bad movies, like the shooting and the fighting and the killing and all that. That's not allowed in our house. Right. So,
No.
yeah. So I'm a really a mean person, right? Because I'm not letting my husband watch this kind of stuff. But it does affect me, and as I'm sure a lot of you who are empathic, affects you too, right? So right. And then yes, so it's really funny because Missy goes, "Yeah, good luck at the vet, Mom," and like she was already prepared to like really act up on you, and that's why I was smiling because I thought, "Oh, she's gonna put on a show for you. Like she's gonna have a hard time going in that cage. Not gonna get in the car good." Yeah. So you make the
Well,
decision on that.
I'll probably cancel the appointment. Yeah.
You might want to come home and drink if you went and took her. I'm not a drinker, but I think you might want to have that happen. And Melody is a funny one as well, and I was laughing at her too. She says, "Mom really focuses on my food a lot," and it was kind of like that. Like my mom focuses on my food a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just don't want to eat. I wish she'd know that. So this is what she's saying. And she says, "I do really get a lot of attention from all of this though." So like I think some of this is like kind of her playing games with you, to be honest, because they know how to
Yeah.
get your attention. I know for my boys, if they don't want to come in, if they're in the backyard and I need to get on a call or work again, I will say, come in, I'll give you a TREAT. I gotta spell that one too. And so they'll stand there and it's like, what are you doing? And my husband started this, and this is how the dogs will stand there now to do this. So animals are really, really smart. And now what I do is the TREAT they get is me kissing them and patting them and say, I love you. They don't really like it when I do, they like it when Ross answers the door and, with his kind of TREATs better. Right. So yeah, so your cats are doing the same thing that our boys do. Right. So I'm laughing. We're in this together, Jeannie. Okay, so Yolanda, Rocky, this is about Rocky who has passed over. I don't think Yolanda's not here. She'll hear the recording. So Rocky is on the other side and he is healthy, he is happy, and he's having a lot of fun. When it's all of your time, he said to assure you all that he will come to meet you and you're going to recognize him first because he loves all of you so very much. And Rocky watches and he's protecting your son at night. So when your son, he might feel like someone's in his room, or more specific, at the end of his bed, sitting on the bed watching him, it's Rocky because he wants to, he's always going to be there with him. Rocky knows that your son misses him. Tell your son to talk to Rocky because Rocky is basically his angel now, and Rocky's basically waiting for your son to say, what is it you need? Like again, the magic wand. Tell me what you need, and I want to bring it to you, right? So that's what encourage your son to talk to Rocky as well as tell him what he needs. And that your son is going to be reunited in the next lifetime with Rocky because Rocky always said they're going to be together in the next lifetime. So he wanted to assure your son on that. Rocky does not like sadness. He wants everyone to be happy and celebrate his life and have fun like you did when he was alive. And that's a common thing that pets will say to me is that they just want to be celebrated, not have the sadness, because they don't like seeing their owners or moms or dads sad. They want to have you happy And so when you celebrate them and you laugh, and like, remember I told you last week the story how Molly, we move into a new house and she goes under the crawl space and unpacks her coat and puts it in a like a cupboard. Like, what dog does this on the other side, right? My Molly. So expect the unexpected from them and celebrate them, because that's what they really, really want. They want you to be happy and enjoying your life, your quality life they want you to have and continue to have, like before they crossed. Okay. So Marla, so Lou, oh my gosh, your puppies are so cute. And I had to laugh at your pets too. You and Jeannie have lots of conversations you could share with each other. Just want to say this, okay? So that dog of yours is very empathic, and he feels everything and he feels everyone. Okay. So the more that you can play the calming, relaxing music, that's going to be better for him. And I can tell you, like our Gus was very empathic. And one time a neighbor next door had someone come over that their energy was off the chart, really angry. And Gus, he absorbed it because he's empathic, right? And this is what pets will do. They'll take it on, right? And literally Gus didn't know how to handle it. He just went like a crazy boy and turned around and bit my arm. Now, this dog never bit me before and never bit me ever again. In fact, he was crying after he saw what he did. But it's because what's happening, that, you've got Lou that feels everything. And so you just need to be, walking down the street and there's maybe a neighbor that you might think, oh, I don't like them. But that's going to be really echoing strong to Lou. It's like, I got to growl at that person because my mom doesn't like him, that kind of thing. So it's like, watch your thoughts because he feels that too, right? And then I felt too regarding his left hind leg, that I was, again, when I zoned into him, okay, I was feeling that it was actually his hip and his ankle. And I felt like it was almost like arthritic. Now, he's not that old, right? He's not that old. But I could tell you that our Marley, he got arthritis really young. And I've done a lot of healing on him to change that. But Marley's bones, his back legs, they're not, he's kind of like double jointed, and like our dog. And it's even as a puppy, like he was like, it was like a how he was born kind of thing. He's not a regular Shih Tzu strong legs, and so I feel like this is kind of like a birth thing that's now coming out. But again, I'm not a doctor, as you know. And if you did like something like probiotics, that might be like, look and see if that feels right to you. My
Uh, they
dogs have that.
they get fermented foods at every
Okay.
meal. No, that
Okay.
have the probiotics. Yeah.
Yeah. So you do healing work, right? Are you a healer?
Mhm.
So do the heal. Like you could almost do that right now, maybe like every couple hours.
Okay.
Right? It's not going to be too much, right? Like think about like when I brought Buddy in, like he had the emotional stuff, and it was every hour I was working on him, right? So that's what you can do. But yeah, I felt it was, and I knew he was young, but I just felt like, because I was seeing red, like remember it was a Becky I said that I saw red in Holly, and I
Yeah.
felt it was critic. So that's what I felt with Lou. And
Okay.
so healing hands. That's the answer, okay? And what's really funny with Lou and Ruby, do you know what they told me? Okay. So, so they used to plot. How old are they now?
Um, almost almost 3. Lou's about 6 months older than Ruby. He'll be 3 in June.
Okay, so did you find that they'd get into trouble a lot together?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they told me they did that. They would plot. They would be together, and you're thinking, oh, these cute little dogs are together and they're laying and sleeping. They were plotting what they were going to do next.
Okay.
So yeah, they it was kind of like they said we plotted for what we were going to get into trouble next over. So it's kind of like, what could we do next to get away with it? So yeah, they're funny. They are so funny. So crazy funny.
Yeah, they crack me up. They don't get
Yeah.
into a lot of trouble per se, but they definitely feed off of each other, and
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh
communicate
yeah.
a lot apparently.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I was killing myself laughing to the point that Buddy sat up and started looking at me because I was laughing so much when Lou was telling me that like that, that they were plotting and doing all this stuff to how so funny. I'll let you keep them. I won't take your dogs, okay? You can keep them because
Okay.
they won't get into trouble. I do love you. I do love them though when I say that, right? Okay, so did you have any other question about that? Anything?
Um, I I don't know if didn't get anything on Lou's past life or any of his insecurities, mostly just on him being empathic. You'd said,
Oh, I just kind of answered your questions that you had.
per-
I didn't really go, but I mean, you can ask me that for next time if there's time. I can look into that, right?
yeah,
So,
that
and just
sounds
so you
great.
know, like, just so you know, I think I mentioned to you last week after these end, you're welcome to come when I do the Ask Sue London live talks. They're free, and I do them the second and the fourth Tuesday of the month. But the second Tuesday in May, I'm actually going to be away. So taking a rare 3 days holiday. And so I'm not going to be at that one, but you can see my on my website on the homepage asksuelondon.com, and it's right posted there. You just have to register, and then you can just send me your pet's picture, send me question, and then I will like that's what that show's about as well. And there's no cost for it. It's just free, and it's another way you can just say, hey, I got this question. Can you help me with that? But just make sure you put in the subject line it's for like Ask Sue London Live and then the date, because that helps me keep track of all the events I'm doing. Right. I don't want to give you a message at another event I'm doing that you might not get your message, right? So yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, so Shelley, so you asked about Tate and Bree, and they're really nice dogs. They are really nice, and they're on a mission with you. Um, thanks, Peter, for joining us. We'll see you next week. So Tate and Bree said that they want you. Sorry, you're on mute. Sorry, you're on mute. Okay. Are you on the phone? I can't tell you. Oh, where did we lose her? There you go. Oh, no. No. She must be on the phone. Do you want to? Okay. So am I saying the names wrong? Is that what you're saying? Okay. So because I got an email saying Tate and Bree. Is that the dogs in the do you want to type it in the chat line? Not working? Maybe while she's typing, does anyone have any other questions that you wanted to ask? I didn't get anything else from anybody, but if there's anyone that has one question to ask, anything you want to ask something, Linda? Do you want to go off mute and then ask me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Can you
can.
hear me? Okay, great. It's about Roscoe. I was like, oh my God, one of the calls, and it was today, and I was like, oh, I was so excited. So anyway, Roscoe, this weekend, I don't know why he's scared now to go out in the back. I don't know if it was a bird or a cat or somebody threw a rock at him, or I don't know. He's just, he's skittish. He won't go out unless I go out. Right now, he's at the back door because he was tearing up everything. But but anyway,
So you,
I was just wondering
so you,
what's wrong.
so I feel like there was an animal out there, and do you have squirrels? Do you have
Yes, the
squirrels?
squirrel. Yes.
Because I feel like we have one in our backyard to be specific, and it comes on the fence and it flicks its tail and it makes this clicking sound. And it did to Gussie, then he didn't want to go out, and now he's taken over and doing it to Buddy, and Buddy's acting the same way that Gus did and the same way as your little one is. So it's kind of like he's scared of that squirrel. And some squirrels are pretty scary. Like
Yeah.
if you hear
Well,
the
they're
noise,
no, I was wondering because he was I mean they'll run on the trees, you know, and on the line, you know, the telephone line and all that. And
can
so
I
I
point
didn't know what happened.
can I point out something? Look up beside my head. Do you see what's on beside my head on the screen?
Oh, the hand. Is that what
Okay.
you're saying?
I did, yeah, I didn't do that. Okay.
Oh,
So
but
there's your sign that we've got like angels and loved ones with us. And
oh,
feel Linda, this is for you, for you got a pet on the other side that's saying hi.
Rex. Yeah, my golden
Okay.
retriever. Yeah, that's great.
So
That's so
I'm
cute.
I'm getting a message. I'm going to be cut off here in 2 minutes. Can everyone still hear me? Are we still good? Okay. Maybe it's a new thing on Zoom. If I lose you, it's not me hanging up on you. Okay. So yeah, so I think like you're best to go out with her because and until she gets her confidence back. But yeah, I feel like she's being kind of teased, and it's from
Oh,
like
okay.
I
Oh,
just I call it the squirrel from hell. Like, you know, maybe it's the one from our backyard that's come to your house, and I'm willing to share
possibly.
because they are really scary. Like it
Oh,
almost feels
yeah.
like, you know, they're going to attack, and the dogs just feel that energy, right?
Yeah, he's just 6 months. He's big, but he's 6 months, and he's got
Yeah,
scared.
he's just a baby.
Yeah, so,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's just a baby.
Well,
And I
thank you. I
know
didn't
like
know. You know, I didn't know
yeah,
I was so scared.
yeah, no, you're good and you're smart to go outside and stay out there with him. And I know for even for us, like this is new for Buddy being in the backyard because he's always wanted to do WAK, right? And so I'm trying to teach him, let's just sit down, let me read, you know. And but that squirrel with the tail just goes crazy and gets the tail clicking and everything. And then he
Oh,
starts freaking out, jumps in my arms and jumps on my head like he's petrified. So these squirrels are really scary animals. So you know,
okay.
it's
Thank you.
good that you asked that, so you know, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
good. Okay. Okay, so Shelley, what did you say? Bri?
Yeah, it's pronounced with a Y. We just spelled it with an I because that's the way my name is spelled.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I just
Yeah.
wanted to say, it was just a kind of a short message for you, but the thing that they both wanted to say was both are very happy. They are both at peace, and they are really watching and supporting everything that you are doing. Okay, they're very proud of you, and they've said that they are asking you to ask them for what you want that you're adding in with your business with the healing on the animals, because it's kind of like they're the ones on the other side that are like Gus. So you tell them what you need, and if you need, you want more people to come to you for your pet healings, they will make that happen on the other side where people will find you. And many times what's happened with me, I've just said, something, and then all of a sudden somebody contacts me and says, I was at my computer and your website just popped up on my screen. And I hear that an awful lot. So that is what your two puppies are going to do for you, but you have to ask. So they want you to know that they are there. They're there to help you. And it's specifically with the new things that you're going to be doing with business, because they're going to help you be very successful. So they
Okay.
kind of got your back. They're good, and that they're gonna be helping you create the magic and miracles in your business too. So pretty
Nice.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited to what happens next.
Do I have time just to ask what Nisha saw in our living room the other day? Remember the text I sent you?
Didn't even be able to get I'm
Oh,
so
okay.
behind in messages.
Okay.
I have 1,000 emails right now, and I have about
That
50
wasn't
texts.
it wasn't an email. Yeah. Okay. No, that's
Okay,
fine. I
I'll
sent
look
it the
at it and
same
I'll see.
time about my win.
What's that?
I sent it at the same time I told you about my win. It was the next text because it happened shortly
Oh,
after.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've been helping
Little.
minimum of 2
Oh,
animals a day cross.
oh, I love him.
And I
Oh,
thought my weekend was free, and I've got about
It's
six or
okay.
seven. Oh, I think somebody off mute there. Lori, is it Lori talking? Yeah,
Oh,
there's a lot of
I
hands
thought I was
crossing.
muted.
Yeah,
Did
Oh,
you
all good.
unmute me?
what's that? So yeah, I'm not ignoring you. And if you've sent me a text, I'm not ignoring you. There's just some like people with their pets in need right now.
Yeah,
And
no problem.
yeah, so anyone wants to come clean my house or do any of this stuff, I'm looking for volunteers. Oh, Michelle, good. I'll write your name down. We'll talk after, okay? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I am truly looking for an assistant, and they're like finding an assistant in Canada anyways, it's hard to find. So in Ontario, Canada, right? So nobody lives there. You're all Americans, right? Except Shelley.
I'm
You're
Canadian.
all Michelle, are you Canadian? Where do you live? Woodstock? Oh, you couldn't talk. You have to type it. Anyways, so I hope that something that I've said tonight will help you. And again, I don't know where Bloomfield is. Is that Ontario? Does anyone know Bloomfield? Yes, Ontario. Okay. Okay, good. Well, I'm by Niagara Falls. You could come to tourist country. I'll take you on a tour. So anyways, on that note, we could have fun for hours. But I'm really grateful that you joined me tonight. And if you came on the call tonight late, I do want to remind you that if you are wanting to have the healings, or like I talked about that diamond level membership that I'm doing, you're welcome to just let me know. Send me an email to sue@suelondon.ca. And that for that month of May, the normal fee for that will be $99, $99.95 a month. But for you guys on this call, that it's because it's new, that's why you're going to kind of give me your honest opinion on everything. That I'm only going to be charging you guys $24.95, and you'll get healing for both yourself and for 3 pets. So, and then there's, replays and meditation and channel messages on Mondays. And then there's a private, kind of how we did this. There's a private group for members of the membership as well. That it's kind of like, ask me your questions. You got an hour, ask me anything. You want to know about your business? Ask me. I'm here to help you. You need a referral? Let me know who you will need to be connected to. Anything that you need. That's what that will be about. So just send me an email if you want to be part of that. And then I call him my Tiago, but he's my producer, and he's currently making like a coupon that we're going to send everybody, and he does all the tech stuff and that. So yeah. Okay, so on that note, I hope that something that I said to you tonight will help you. And I really have to say, I really enjoy talking to all your pets. It's just such a joy to talk to them all. And so just know that you're never alone. Your pets that have crossed are with you. Jennifer, that is for you. You need, to know that your baby is there, and you feel her too, right? Yeah. And your godmother comes to visit me a lot with her, and she's always cackle laughing. So I'm kept quite busy by a lot of your pets on the other side and your loved ones. So on that note, I love you all, and I am quite entertained by a lot of your pets. And we will talk next week. And so when we finish this, I'm going to be editing this, and then I send this to Happivize. So they should have this up, I think, I think it's like 48 hours, I think they posted, or 20, however long they take. So if there's any problems, let me know. But I won't be, because I'm helping a lot of pets this weekend, what's going on with them. And so I won't be even near my computer until Monday afternoon, because with my schedule. So if I don't get back to you, then you'll know that's what I'm involved with. So I'm not ignoring you. That's what I want to say. Okay. But if you ever do have an emergency, just text me, but only text me if it's like an urgent message, like if you need help at this point right now, because I can't keep up with the messages that are on there now, just because there's a lot of pets having a hard time with this energy. And I just want to make sure I can get to every pet that needs the help, right? So I'm really grateful to all of you doing the healing work on your pets. And thank you for the love you give them. They really do appreciate it. And thanks for the entertainment to all of the pets like Jeannie's and Marla's that have made our entertainment for tonight. And on that note, we are done for tonight. So again, next week we have one more week. And send me your question and make sure you put in the date, Happivize, whatever, is it the 18th in the subject line? Send the email to me and, put your question in there. That was like great this time. There's a lot of people that signed up for this and there's a lot of people not sending me questions. So, feel free to ask your questions. And by the way, Christine, I keep seeing Zoe and you in the Victorian Times playing you dressing her up like a doll. So like it's happening in my head hourly since we spoke. So I'll let you talk to everyone else off the camera. I mean, you can share your adventure with that. So, but anyways, I love you all and I will see you next week. Sound good? Okay. Bye, guys.